Yo, what is up, everyone? It is the Beast. Welcome back to the channel, The Beast On. Do me a favor before we get to the content and the Canes win over NC State. Subscribe to the channel. Right next to the subscribe button is a bell. If you hit the bell, it'll notify you when new videos are out. And of course, hit the thumbs up to tell Google, hey, we like this video. I mean, we don't love it. It's not the best, but we like it, so move it up. All right, let's get to it. So Miami beats NC State at Hard Rock Stadium Saturday night, 31-30, in what was a really good football game to sit and watch. It was really good. And there were some good takeaways for the University of Miami. First, they get their first conference win of the season. They moved to 3-4 on the season. And there was a lot of storylines as we headed into this one. Obviously, Manny Diaz being on the proverbial hot seat. But Blake James, the athletic director, giving some selective interviews on Friday, not really opening it up to everyone that covers the team, which was interesting. But the way I look at that is, on one hand, as a member of the media, if Blake was going to speak, I think he should have done it for everyone, right? That offer should have been out there for everyone that covers the team regularly, not just Joe Schmo like me that shows up just to the games and doesn't, get down to practice and all that stuff. But if your outlet is covering practice every day, if you're a major media entity in this town, you should have had the ability to sit down with Blake James. On the other hand, it's not any kind of old trick where an organization will pick and choose what media entity they do an interview with to get favorable coverage or to kind of control the messaging a little bit. So if you're the University of Miami, you probably did the right thing by your playbook. And if you're a member of the media, you're probably pissed if you didn't get the opportunity to interview Blake. But in that interview, Blake, when asked by several different reporters, several different ways, could he guarantee that Manny Diaz would be the coach, through the year, next year? And the answer was no, he couldn't guarantee anything. And it's about winning. And as much as Blake does take a lot of flack, and some of it is well-deserved, a lot of it is well-deserved, that's the truthful answer, right? I mean, he could have lied and said, well, Manny's our coach through and through, and nothing's going to happen. And then you're put into a spot where if things go much more south than they have, and you have to make a change, well, then you look like a liar. So it was interesting to see that coming into the game. When asked after the game if Manny had any heads up about that stuff, he said no, that he hadn't really talked to Blake other than Blake really congratulating him on the win. So that's an interesting dynamic to look at moving forward, the Blake-Manny dynamic, as I feel like Blake is probably under the same amount of pressure as Manny has to keep his job. So we'll see how that kind of makes its way through the season. Now, on to the game. And there were some cluster Fs going on throughout this game. There's no doubt about it. There were some coaching decisions that baffled me, some offensive play calls that baffled me. There were still guys on defense that seemed to have no clue where they were supposed to be. There were still a couple of missed tackles. It was not the prettiest of games or without mistakes. But there was some good things to take away, right? And the first and foremost is the play of Tyler Van Dyke. You could just see his growth from the first game he started to now. He is really coming into his own as a starting quarterback of this team. And it's really nice to see. I really like Tyler a lot because for a couple of reasons. I feel like he has a strong arm. I feel like he's progressed beyond just looking at one receiver and throwing it there. He's going through his progressions. I think his footwork has been good. I think he's taken off when he's had to. And he's simply just not bothered by tough situations. And that was no more evident than last night when it's 3rd and 16 and, you make a first down, you win the game. But it's 3rd and 16 and we're in the press box and we're sitting there going, well, okay, they're going to just run it. That's going to take like 5 seconds off the clock. And then this is the play clock is going to run and this is how many seconds. And then NC State's going to have this much time left and all of that. Because no one thought they were going to pass it on 3rd and 16. Meanwhile, get a first down. But, and Manny said, listen, that play was basically set up where his first progression is a check down. And he went through his progressions. He sees the linebacker move off of the tight end, Will Mallory, and Tyler makes the right read, hits Mallory, first down, Canes win. And that takes guts. That takes intestinal fortitude. That takes football IQ. All of the things you want to see from a starting quarterback to be able to make that read, make that throw in that situation, make the play. And to trust a guy in Will Mallory, I mean, yes, he did have the touchdown catch earlier in the game, but who has not exactly lit up the world. All of that came into play in nanoseconds, and Tyler Van Dyke got it done, and he played well last night, right? Over 300 yards, like 75% completion rate, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He really had command of the offense, and I think it was Charleston Rambo last night that told us that Tyler has been making pregame speeches and becoming more of a leader on this team. Manny Diaz seconded that the kid is just staying, watching, just doing all the things that quarterbacks are supposed to do. Staying late, watching film, doing all the things that he's supposed to do, and, of course, becoming a leader in that huddle. And I think Manny said it last night, and it's completely true when you step back and take a look at it. When De'Aaron King goes down, the team loses its leader. And with a lack of leadership, things are not going to go well because it's leaders that hold guys accountable off the field and motivate them off the field and become that player voice that's needed on a team to be successful when the coaches maybe aren't getting through. And Tyler Van Dyke is quickly becoming a leader, even though he's a young guy. But he's doing it because the kids see that he can simply play the position. And you know what? I was thinking this during Tyler's media session last night during the press conference is he looks the part. He's just and there's something to be said about that. Whereas these days, you want your quarterback to have some pretty good characteristics. 6'4", 220, muscular, can also move around. He just looks the part of what a quarterback is supposed to look like this day and age. And as I would say, daddy likey. So for that was a plus. Jalen Knighton carried the load last night. 80, averaged like 4 yards a carry. Really showed that he could do it out of the backfield as a receiver as well. One big play. I think it was over 170 yards, total yards, on the night between rushing and receiving. So that was good. Charleston Rambo was a boss last night. So that was good to see. So the offense, I think, listen, there were some crappy play calls. There were some runs up the middle. There was just some crap. There were some procedure penalties that were stupid. It wasn't perfect. And, I still am waiting for Rhett Lashley to get really innovative and creative on offense. It hasn't really shown itself this year yet. So that's still an issue. So that was good. Special teams needs to get its crap together. That's for sure. On returns, we can't be fumbling returns. Thank God for a guy losing his chin strap and his helmet because that would have been ugly. May have impacted the outcome of the game. And I just think, I just think there's some stuff to clean up, but I think this team is showing something that you want to see, which is fight. They're fighting. I think they know they're better than their record shows, and they're trying to show it, and they're fighting. And they're fighting for their head coach, and they're fighting for the perception of this team. And, listen, yesterday I'm watching ESPN pregame, and everyone on the show picked NC State to win that game. And I would have done the same thing, because just the way Miami had been losing close games and playing, and NC State's ranked 18 coming in. They got a great defense. They get the best third down defense in the country, which made that 3rd and 16 even more ridiculous, because NC State's third down defense is pretty ridiculous, and Miami still manages to find a way to make that 3rd and 16. So, listen, those are all good things. Now, you got a deal where you're heading up to face Pat Narduzzi's Pittsburgh Panthers next week, right? I don't think it's going to be cold, but it's not going to be warm. It's certainly not going to be Miami temperatures up there. And Pittsburgh is playing just about as well as any team in this conference right now. And that Pat Narduzzi is going to dial up some defense that's going to be a little bit confusing to Tyler Van Dyke. And, Pickett's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. So Miami will have their work cut out for them next week. And, we'll see. They are 3-4, and, you win out, and you're an 8-4 team, which isn't horrible. Then again, can you win out? And that was kind of the talk, to bring you inside. Last night, as the game ends, it quickly went from what normally has been, is Manny getting fired tonight, to what will it take for this team to win X, Y, and Z, to get to what bowl game. And there was talk, well, hey, this team could win out and, do X, Y, and Z. It was kind of the talk last night, which was a little more positive than I'm used to in that press box, but it's cool. It's fine. It's great. And I think the media get accused by everyone, the fans, the coaches, the players, of, we're rooting for the team to lose. We're rooting for Manny to get fired. No, trust me. And I know that I'm not down there every day covering practices, but I certainly have spent a majority of the last 25 years of doing just that. It is so much easier on you mentally, on you as far as job stress, as far as getting the players to talk, getting the coaches to talk. Things are so much easier to get your job done when you're a member of the media when the team is winning. It's easy peasy. Smiles, great responses to questions, better access. You'd be surprised at how when a team wins, more players and coaches become available to talk to. It's joy when a team is winning. When a team is losing, it's it's impossible. It makes life really difficult. It creates stressors. Every interaction just feels like nails on a chalkboard. So, really, media is rooting for the team to do well because it makes their job easier. It's a selfish reason to root for a team to do well, but hey, don't we all want our job to be easier day in and day out? Yeah, we do. All right, so Miami pulls out a win at home, and that was good to see. It was a good win against a ranked team, and it's something to build on. Now, I need to address a couple other things. The first you may laugh at, but I found really embarrassing as a alum of the University of Miami. So somewhere in the second half of the game, we decided, when I say we, I mean the University of Miami, decided to do the Sebastian cam, where they're going to dim the lights and, the camera's going to go on people and they're going to cheer as we play this, techno song or whatever it is these days. Boom, 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 boom. Anyways, and as we're doing this, we all look up, and on the big scoreboard, all over the stadium, on our TVs in the press box, it wasn't spelled Sebastian's cam, it was spelled Sebastian. Sebastain. Sebastian. And I was just like, you can't get your mascot's name spelled right? I mean, And then it was up there way too long. Like there wasn't somebody with the university with the walkie-talkie that could have been, listen, hey, up there in the booth, take the graphic down, please. That was embarrassing. And then I need to bring this up, and I think a lot of fans out there are starting to feel the way I do. The way the University of Miami does these ceremonies at halftime to honor things like, you know, the 91 championship team, the 01 championship team like last night, or Howard Schnellenberger, I'll be honest with you, it's pretty piss poor. You know, you walk out there, some pictures, a round of applause, and then they walk off, and no one's in the stands because it's halftime and they're getting a drink or going to the bathroom, and it just seems like a really crappy way to honor some of the most important people who have been a part of your university's history. And I don't have the answer yet. I need to marinate on it, but the way that Miami has been doing these ceremonies and like for ages of just, we'll roll you out there at halftime, you'll walk onto the field, you'll get some applause, you'll take a picture and you'll walk off. Like, I'm sorry. That doesn't cut it for this big time moments. Like, that cuts it if you're honoring, you know, like the ACC Athlete of the Week. You walk them out there during the, you know, the between the first and second quarter. They take a picture, blah, blah, blah. Their faces on the screen. That's great. But when you're honoring two of the best teams in the history of college football in 91, and maybe the best team in college football history in 01, and maybe the most important figure in University of Miami football history in Howard Schnellenberger, who created, you know, the state of Miami and the idea of Miami Hurricanes football being a winner. I just don't think it's working. So you got to get better at that. There needs to be a better way. I don't know what it is. I'd be happy to serve on some committee, to give my thoughts. I'm always willing to help my alma mater, but the way you're doing it now is just, it seems weak and just not a great way to honor those people. Last night just felt like, you know, they all come out in 26 jerseys honoring Sean Taylor, and it's the best team, arguably the best team ever in college football, and there's no one there to see it, and they're out there for 2 minutes, and it's just crap. We got to do better as a university. We got to do better. So let's do that. All right, that'll do it for me. I will talk to you at some point, either during the week or after the Pitt game. Oh, by the way, if you missed it, Robbie the Degenerate, there you go, spit that out. My old cohort from the radio, Jazz Santana, my old cohort from the radio, we got together earlier this week and just talked about what if Manny Diaz should not make it through the season, and to next season, how would the coaching search go and who would be targeted? We did a great video on that, so check that out. That is on this YouTube channel as well. All right, that'll do it for me. I will see you when I see you. Peace.